This feels like an episode I repressed. At least it's one that I tend to skip on rewatches.
Say cheese!
Cheese! Did it do it?
How old is this phone? Does it not have a forward-facing camera? The first iPhone with a forward-facing camera was the iPhone 4. That was 2010. Get with the times, Steven's phone.
You guys look cute.
Jamie!
This is Jaime's second speaking appearance, and it's the first time we learn his name. Did you know in his debut episode, Cheeseburger Backpack, he's just listed as mailman in the credits?
What's up, Steven? Long time no see.
Oh my god!
Did you also know Jaime is one of the only townies with a leitmotif? Based on the little Hey Mr. Postman song from Cheeseburger Backpack as well. What a weird character to give a leitmotif. He hardly appears in the show compared to the other townies.
So, where you been at?
Why does Steven care? Sorry, that's just the vibe I'm gonna have for most of this episode. But for real, we've seen Steven and Jaime interact once ever, but apparently they have some history, I guess. They're buddy-buddy or something. Whoops, I'm talking about Buddy. That's a later Jaime episode.
Just a little place called Kansas.
Aside from the United States, Kansas is the only other location so far that retains its real-life name. The joke also being that Kansas is what people might consider a flyover state. Not a lot happens there. Kansas City isn't even in Kansas. It's in Missouri. That's kind of fucked up.
Oh, are you an aspiring thespian?
I don't like when the writers make Connie say big words so she sounds smart. Big words aren't for smart people. They're for stupid people who just want to sound smart. Why use big word when small word do trick?
Wow, I didn't know you wanted to be an actor.
That's because I'm very good at acting.
What did you say? You were turned away from them and whispering.
I miss being a regular old mailman, so I just came back.
I think you're leaving a lot of the story out. It's a tale as old as time. Someone tries to move to Kansas to make it big as a famous actor, runs out of money because they can't land a gig, and moves back home. I think he even says that later in the episode.
You got a lot of mail while I was gone.
Looks like the Postal Service has been slacking off.
More than slacking off, this is a violation of the fucking Constitution if I'm not mistaken. Whoever made the decision to not deliver that mail was committing a federal crime. You hear that, Sadie? Your mom's going away for keeps if anyone finds out.
Your knuckles are so quiet.
My hands are polite.
There aren't a lot of trailer lines that I really remember as we get later and later into the series, but this is definitely one of them. I think this is when they started doing Steven bombs. I talked about those before, and I think this clip was in the promo for one of those.
Oh, Garnet.
Fuck Garnet, I want to look at the straight-on background shot of the temple. Since we're in Season 2, I'm noticing a lot of new background and environment art. I really like a straight-on shot of the temple like this. And this is a close shot, so it's more detailed than usual. I don't have anything specific to say, I just like to look at it.
Who's Garnet?
This scene is so creepy, I don't know. We're kind of watching through Jaime's eyes here. I don't like that. He's definitely objectifying her. That's how a lot of this episode goes, and it's a major reason I don't like this one. Yeah, this one's pretty low on the Season 2 totem pole for me. Whoa, I've talked about the perspective being weird in this exact establishing shot before, but this one is even crazier. You can just zoom in and see how big they are compared to the warp pad. They're huge!
Why did you receive so many boxes of Sea Pals?
I'm gonna set him free. Into the sea!
This is a very Steven thing to do, but I think the ocean has enough of these guys. I want to say a krillion of them, but they're brine shrimp, not krill. I'll give it to Jaime, he went all out. He got the frilly pink envelope, the wax seal. He spared no expense to be a fuckboy. Hello? Can we get a wellness check on this man? He's a theater kid, I should just expect that kind of behavior. The audio and this visual do not pair together. They are not going up these stairs as urgently as their heavy breathing makes it seem.
The most unbelievable thing has happened. You'll absolutely die of shock.
I'm busy, Steven.
Hey, I've got this life-changing information that's going to turn your entire worldview upside down. Can't schedule conflict.
But you got a letter.
Garnet's been around long enough that she's probably gotten mail in some form or another throughout the ages. Not much, of course. She hardly interacts with humans at all, so there's not really any reasons she would be getting mail.
Read it.
This single line is so Garnet. It follows her dialogue rule of not asking questions. She doesn't say, "What does it say?" Also, it's kind of a future vision moment. The way that she says it tells you she already knows what it says with her future vision. She wants Steven to read it so he knows what's going on.
To Garnet. When
I saw you rise like an ancient sea nymph, a white hot steel pierced the deepest artery of my being. You are a cardiac surgeon and I am your transplant patient.
I didn't grok any of that. I was too busy paying attention to that quill. Oh, yep, there it is. There's the fire. I'm surprised it didn't catch on the drape as well. I think the goofy visuals are purposely undermining the letter because the letter is total schlock. Jaime may be an actor, but he is no poet.
So I implore you to join me for dinner, or maybe lunch if you want to keep it casual, next Friday at the Crab Shack.
I did hear that. The Crab Shack was the restaurant from Fusion Cuisine, which I cannot find in any overhead shot. I spend a lot of time looking at overhead shots during discussion streams, trying to find the elusive Crab Shack. Oh, quick stool check. We're back to the backless square stools. It's been a while. I don't remember the last stool iteration we were on. I'm gonna make a stool continuity t-shirt eventually.
I think Jaime is asking you out on a date.
What tipped you off? Was it the part where he said, join me for dinner?
Garnet is already in a relationship.
Wait, really?
Well, yeah. She is a relationship.
Oh, you mean because she's a fusion?
I like to imagine Steven never explained that Garnet was a fusion to Connie, and she just figured it out on her own. I'm picturing a scenario. Steven is explaining meeting Ruby and Sapphire and how they fused into Garnet, and Connie's just like, wait, you didn't know? Wait, check this out. Boom. How did she do that? Magic O. Connie's a fucking wizard. A witch? A wizardess? Ooh, that's why we're seeing new background art in town, because it has to include the huge chunk out of the hill now. Everything's just a little bit different from season 1. The colors are brighter too, goddamn. This is a weird point to make, but this is the 5th episode in a row where someone cries. The last episode without crying was Political Power. Steven cried in The Return a couple times, Ruby cried in Jailbreak, Steven and Connie cried in Full Disclosure. Last episode, Steven cried a little bit when he was ungrounded. Now Jaime is crying, but those aren't real tears, he's just being dramatic. Props to him for being able to cry on cue, though.
I watched some episodes of a torrid soap opera once, so I'm confident that I get the gist of romance.
This joke is obviously, haha, Connie knows nothing about romance, but she does a pretty good job with the letter. Jaime's just a fucking idiot in this episode and doesn't get the message at all. Hey, instead of using up the entire eraser, why don't you get a new paper? I work at a school and I see kids try to erase an entire paper all the time. It drives me nuts. Steven's playing the N64 for once, instead of the GameCube. Not important, I just think it's neat. God damn, your arms are lanky. I know it's perspective, but those giant lanky arms look hilarious paired with the skinny pencil legs. Ugh, stop that. You know what this reminds me of? It looks like Ricardio from Adventure Time. Just the hyper-detailed facial features on an otherwise simple character. It's creepy. The difference being Ricardio was creepy on purpose.
Things you wrote to me in your missive.
I didn't write that.
I love this line. I can't explain why I love this line, I just love it. Great Garnet line, no notes. Is Connie just here every day now, or is this a few days in the future? Wait, why is she in the same outfit? This can't be the next day. Her parents would never let her wear the same clothes twice in a row.
I'm looking for the home of Steven Universe.
I'm the home of Steven Universe.
Barb moment. There isn't a lot of Barb in this show, but she's great. She's Sadie's mom, of course. Weird how she got name dropped in Cheeseburger Backpack, but not Jaime. Coupons, I get it. That's just a giant tardigrade. Not a lot of gem monsters are straight up copies of real animals. Some of them get pretty close, but this one is just a tardigrade. No unique features or anything, just big.
Because of us, Jaime's feeling lower than ever.
We've shattered the man.
This is the earliest mention of shattering. Very much not in the context that it's used in the rest of the show, but that word activates a certain neuron in my brain. I thought I'd mention it just for fun.
Can't you just, zap his brain so he forgets any of this ever happened?
Nope, that plot's gonna be saved for the movie. Where do you draw the line when depicting characters committing crimes in kids' shows? I ask because Jaime is essentially committing 9, 10, 11 counts of mail tampering. That's like 6 years in prison. There's gotta be a line, right? There are certain crimes you can show and certain ones you can't. I wonder where that line is.
But I've loved you since the moment I saw you.
Love at first sight doesn't exist.
Oh, that's rich coming from Garnet. Later in the same season, she's telling the story of how Ruby and Sapphire were love at first sight. Do what I say, not as I do kind of stuff.
But I bloom for you, like camellia under moonlight.
No, you don't.
Yeah, because camellias don't do that. I think. I don't actually know. I don't know much about plants.
Were those more letters you wrote to Garnet?
No, that was the mail I was supposed to deliver on my last route.
Somehow, Jaime is seen delivering mail in later episodes. Felonies aside, how he kept his job is beyond me. I don't like this episode. Like I said earlier, Jaime kind of objectifies Garnet, and I just think that's kind of creepy. This episode doesn't make me want to like this character. I guess it resolves alright though, but another point to make is that a townie episode like this wedged into a big story arc feels really out of place. It's the beginning of the show's pacing problems that happen as time goes on. Peridot's on the loose, Malachite is out there in the ocean, and we're here watching a filler episode about the mailman's crush on Garnet. It just gives me whiplash. And before I get to the patron shoutouts, I do have an announcement. I set up a forum, sourcemaster.net. I've had a Discord server for the longest time, but I thought a forum would be a cool place to have discussions as a community. Unlike Discord, it'll be more organized, better for archiving, and no mandatory age verification if you're not into that. Check it out, sourcemaster.net. It'll always be free and it'll never have ads. And if you want to see new episodes from me a week before they premiere on YouTube, you can subscribe to my Patreon for just a couple bucks. The link is in the description as always. Shoutouts to my master patron, Geeky Game Guru, master of time travel. They never told me if they came from the past or the future though. Also shoutouts to my journeyman patrons, Henri Wickers, Bananas Are Violet, Boomblorp, Gage M, Gizmo, journeyman patrons, Max Buchek, Murky Waters 6, Primrose, Silly Alien Lady, Scala LD, Yotawo, and ZT the Fish Guy. Next episode is Reformed. Amethyst episode.